It's a pleasure to be here again. And I had such high hopes when I first started making this deck because I thought to myself, this is going to be a happy deck about how wonderful product design is in the modern age. And then I thought about it for a little bit and I thought, I can't do this anymore. I can't lie about this stuff and try and pretend it's good. This is the slide that I want to start this with, right? And we're all going to die bet is when we get taken over by the robots, the singularity of the general purpose artificial intelligence that will enslave us all if the Internet of Things devices haven't killed us already by then. That's another presentation. But if you want this deck, there's loads of resources in it, so you can download it from this link, right? So everything that I talk about here today, all the reading and tools, you'll find them all in that deck for you to download. But let me take you back to 1999, when I first started out. A lot of people don't know this, but I wasn't a numbers guy then. I wasn't the A/B testing guy. I was a UX person, right? And I started out as a researcher. My teacher, the whole Karate Kid thing, was my mentor getting me repeatedly to go into the lab and test stuff, and it was breaking. Right? And I did over 600 hours in the lab moderating for 3 years, and I began to really learn what I was doing wrong. I began to destroy my ego. So everything I did really started back there, but where's it going to come to like now? Well, I'm doing this stuff now. UX, analytics, and toolkits blended is the way to do this. A/B testing, personalization, changing stuff randomly, they're all hypotheses. It's all the same stuff, right? But really what I do is I'm a plumber. I look for leaks of delight or revenue, and I try and plug them. Most companies don't know that they have all of these problems. They think customers will call up and tell them. Never happens. This is my job, a plumber. I will get angry today. In fact, I'll get really angry today, and I may swear as well. So why do I get, someone asked me the other day, why do you get angry about this stuff? Why do I get angry? Let me explain why this makes me angry. It's because we're fucking stupid. That's why. That's the whole source of this problem. Let's just keep it simplified. Here's an example. After millions of years of human evolution, this is the best that we can come up with. The microwave meal for one. The pinnacle of product design. The Tesco finest meal. Not just a Tesco meal. This is a finest. I should have a better experience. I've paid more for it. But let's just do the numbers. 4.5 billion of sales of these type of meals in these 5 European countries, right, in 2015. So, if this is the kind of recipe book that you've got at home, you're probably one of the 30% of people, you may be one of the 30% of people in the UK who goes home alone at night and has to eat one of these meals on their own. This is my recipe book, right? But what happens when you get your Tesco finest meal? It's this crap that happens. You get the little corner and you go whoosh, like that, but it doesn't come off. Bits of it come off. The whole outer edge is my favorite one. You get this little square of plastic, and then there's nothing. You can't get your fingernails in. This is not an experience. That's 3 minutes of work. 3 minutes. What were you doing tonight? I was working on I was picking plastic out of my microwave dinner before I ate it. It was great. And then Reddit explains this, if it comes off in one, it's going to be banging, but if you spend minutes picking plastic out your dinner, it's going to taste like shit. It's true. So if you look at the quick calculation of what this is actually doing to the real life people, it works out that if you spend all that time picking plastic out of your microwave meal, it's wasting us 840,000 days of people's time that they'll never get back every year. Everyone goes on about, where's all our productivity gone? That's where it's fucking gone, in shitty product design. And is this hard to solve? I mean, oh my God, how are we going to solve this massive, massive problem? It must be a really complicated solution. No, it's called a lid. You put a fucking lid on it. You can eat half of it. Yeah, it's amazing. I've got this lid thing. You put it back on, And you can put things in the fridge and then open it later. You can open and shut it. Never catch on. So this is my packaging manifesto. I'm not just interested in user experience of digital products. I'm interested in the huge suck of all our time in all of these products. So this is my manifesto. I've written to Sainsbury's and Tesco about this. This causes injuries. People have to open this stuff up. Get a knife in there. It's horrendous. It's a bad experience. But, it's horrendous. We need to stop this. And, the whole problem with this is we're doing this with digital product design as well. And as Scott was talking about, you wouldn't tolerate this stuff in retail, but we're doing stuff that you would get fired for in retail really, really easily and really, really quickly. Back to Scotland, though, and this has got something to do with A/B testing. I'll get to it in a minute. No, I wasn't a member of a curling and swinging club in Scotland. But see, this lady, I used to play with my dad in curling competitions. See this lady, the Terminator of the ice. I hated her. She was so good. But here's the thing. Why did it remind me of A/B testing? Because of this bit. Where everybody gets down and does the little brushing thing. We're going to move this 3 millimeters and we're going to have 3 guys straining and heaving, and it'll move a tiny fraction like that. That's why it feels like A/B testing, because everybody gets this face on. It's like, next time you go to curling, watch the people who are doing the sweeping. They all look like they've got their orgasm face on. Nearly there. Oh, I'm done now. It's like relief. But that reminds me of A/B testing. Lots of friction, lots of effort. What's it like? This is what it is. This is what I say to people. This picture reminds me of our A/B testing program. Oh, why is that then? Because you're burning rubber donuts in the car park of user experience. There's lots of smoke, lots of light, lots of noise. Everyone thinks it's great, but nobody fucking goes anywhere. They're still in the car park. We had a great day. Where did you go? Oh, just round the car park. We left some of our tires on the ground. It was good fun. Or, if you're a lean person, this is testing debt, man. But anyway, would you do this kind of stuff in retail? It's a good question that Scott brought up. My example about this is your homepage, right? Or your key landing page. Imagine if John Lewis did their window display like you do your homepage. You'd say, we've got a new design of our window system. What we're going to do is we're going to keep putting shit in there until it fills up. Oh, but what will you do when it fills up to the top after a year? Oh, we'll have a redesign, empty everything out, and start again. It happens in digital. It's really funny. But if it happened in retail, you'd be saying, that's stupid. And it is. That's why those guys laugh at us. So most A/B testing that I've seen out there in the wild that's done by teams and companies, 5 years and 130 companies later, less than 1% are doing good or excellent stuff. About 4% are, it's okay. Won't set the world aflame, but it's not bad. Passable, not really shifting the metrics, wasting a lot of effort, right? That's where a lot of people are too. What about the rest? The rest are awful, terrible, unbelievably bad testing. Bad statistics, bad test setup, biased tests, stupid tests, statistics problems, all of the above. Terrible stuff. And it comes from these kind of statements. You hear, we're a data-driven organization, but nobody's listened to, or even no one knows what a customer looks like. We never mind speaking to customers. We never do that. We have all these tools, but we never do anything with them. We have voice of customer and NPS, but we never act on any of the findings of these things. It's just a measure. Don't do anything. We have agile, but we haven't reformed the management team, so they'll argue about sign-off. We're ready early, but then they argue for a month about signing shit off. That's not agile. Lowest common denominator. And we've got this conversion team, but they're tinkering with button designs in some sort of silo kept away from other people. How is that going to work? And we apply lean thinking, but we haven't really reformed the organization. And these people that say to me, we've got all these amazing tools and stuff, but nothing happens. Help. That's the problems that I get. So a lot of people think my job is I just go and look. I literally look at a business, I go, and I point in the engine and go, oh, it's that bit there, mate. You need to fix that. Once you sorted that, it's going to run sweet as a nut. No, this is my engagement. I'm really sorry, but it's totally fucked, mate. My job is basically going into people's houses and telling them their baby is ugly and is going to die. It's tough work. So this is the kind of stuff I get to do on a weekly basis. I was looking at this last week thinking, this isn't a landing experience, page experience. This is barf. It's just like advertising, a mixture of advertising and content vomited onto the page. They say, we have no idea why we're not making any money. You know why they're not making any money. Okay, so do I. They still haven't figured it out. Here's another example, British Airways. I looked at this advert. I saw it on a train station. It was freezing cold. I want to go there. Visceral advertising. Brilliant. These caves in Funchal and Madeira. Wonderful. Right, let's get on my mobile. Got a couple of minutes before the train comes. Let's see what we can find out. Oh, that's the landing page. Where's my fucking holiday? Oh, there's a terminal move at London Gatwick. That's interesting. Anything else? Any scent trail for me as a squirrel to follow for my holiday? Nothing. Scroll, 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 scroll. Is this it? Sort of looks like it. No picture. Doesn't even say Portugal. I kind of worked it out. I clicked into it. And what happened when I clicked into it? I'm thinking, this will be amazing. I'm going to get to see the thing that I wanted. No, I get this. What? What? What is this? This is an iPhone 5, right? I still can't read this, and it's twice as tall as me. Have you any idea how hard this is to use when it's 4 inches in size? It's ridiculous. Look at the size of these TripAdvisor ratings. You know, I can read them. You can't see them from there. But let's talk about the science bit. 2 to 3 mil touch targets with hardly any freaking white space around them. What sort of problem does that cause? Well, basically, as soon as your touch target is less than 5 mils in size, exponentially the errors rise, which means people can't fucking click on stuff and use it. Okay, science bit's over. That's what happens. This is it. Right, so this is what you're doing, right? In your Lilliputian world, you're taking your giant meat puppet. Let's have 5-star hotels. Let's see, shall we use the pagination control? Whap! Let's just see if I can use this giant finger to control this tiny screen. Doesn't work, does it? Are you fucking kidding? This is not product. It gets worse. Gets worse. You want to choose the destination, you've got this overlay. So the only way I could read the overlay is to zoom into it, but now I can't click the button. But when I zoom back out, the button's too small to tab. It's too tiny. I'm going through all this. I'm getting angrier and angrier. The train has now gone. I'm still freezing. I'm still looking at the British Airways ad, and I'm thinking, I hate this. I'm leaving. And I get this. It took me a couple of seconds. It's one of those feedback overlays. So I'm thinking, we'd what? Your feedback? We'd like to take your feedback up our bahookie. And I'm looking, yes, please, I would like to give you. I can't click on the yes, please, because it's off canvas. The only button I can click is no thanks. Which summarizes my feelings about the whole interaction. But it's even stupid little things, you know, as Luke will tell you about tomorrow, all these tiny little details, like having spell checker turned on. You know, let's enter your credit card. We're going to screw you up today. Put your credit card in. Here's an alphanumeric keyboard. Ha! We got you there. Yes, let's add some friction to your day for no reason. Here's my favorite one. Viagogo's website. They told me, Oh, I said to him, do you realize that you've got a message on your website that tells people the website is on fire? It says, the website is experiencing heavy traffic. This may result in reduced performance. They said to me, oh, it's not actually true. It runs really fast. We just tell them that to try and make them hurry up and buy more. I said, that doesn't fucking work. It's like having a forest being napalmed and saying, oh, look, your stuff is just over there. You just have to walk through it. Never mind the burning forest. You'll get to the thing that you want. They even have this Flamicon. Someone designed that. Someone made that to put it on a website, and it's a lie. We're napalming the user experience here. And Booking.com, I've even spoken to the Booking.com guys about this one. It's great that they A/B test all this stuff, right? And you figure out what works in a very narrow given set of circumstances in one area on the site. But I buy one hotel in the same room, same hotel, same time, every year, and I get this stuff every time. It's not working on me because I'm going to go through regardless of the stuff. Maybe it does work on me a tiny bit, but I don't think so. But it feels like all these ninjas are jumping out at me from everywhere. And you get it all the way through the process, regardless of whether you're going to be influenced by it or not. It's great, but it feels like a kind of Frankenstein monster from an experience point of view, just because every space is sort of almost competing. It's maxed out on persuasion and highly point optimized, but how does it make me feel as an experience? What's the holistic experience like? It might be hugely optimized, but it doesn't make me feel right in that particular instance. And it's almost like going to IKEA. I never go to IKEA to get furniture anymore. Those days are long gone. A decade ago, I go to get meatballs. That's the only reason to ever go to my IKEA. Don't go in there to the maze. So, when it comes to shifting the needle on stuff on your website, this is the important thing. If you try and put crappy persuasion techniques on there, we'll make them feel it's run now. Quick, hurry up, get it. It's going. It's going to be gone soon, right? That'll work, but it works a bit. What will work more is motivation, making the product cheaper, describing the product more accurately, helping people understand it, making it intrinsically more attractive or their perception of it more attractive. That will work and it drives things further. But what drives even more than that? People can actually use it. Amazing. That works even better than those two ones. And do you know what makes even more money than all of them? It's this. Broken shit. If you have broken stuff on your site, no one will ever call you and tell you. You just lose money invisibly. It's great. And this is how much product defects cost. It took 5 days development time to fix all of these bugs. And that's how much they cost the companies a month. In 2 of the cases, the losses of their product every month, every year, were bigger than their annual IT budget. Imagine having a business function, an IT function, that actually loses you more money than you could make. That's incredible. 1,150% ROI. And that's the thing. Don't concentrate all your fucking time on the marketing whiffle. You need to answer this stuff first. Does it work on the stuff they have? Does it load and work quickly? Can people use it? And can they understand and read it? That's it. If you get those 4 right, all the rest of that stuff will work an awful lot better, amazingly enough. But if you miss those out, none of that stuff at the top will work. And that's the problem. Everyone thinks, we'll add some A/B testing, right? We'll put some glitter onto the turd and give it a good polish, right? It's still a turd underneath. It's highly point optimized. Oh, we've done loads of A/B testing on our turds. It's a great turd now. It's a high converting turd. It's still a turd. And the problem is it's because an experience is only as good as its shittiest part. And these are the things that are kind of going wrong. A great deal of this is down to people's ego in the work, but also Lean and Agile have solved some problems, but left us with new types of debt. There's a whole load of problems that are going on there. And this is where I spend most of my time these days in this diagram. This diagram shows all the work that I do. at any given point in any given week, I will be somewhere in this diagram. Design thinking, lean, agile, and optimization, they all go together. It's all part of the same stuff. It's all the same diagram. And these companies feel the same way. Booking.com are one excellent example of these mini lean product teams. The Financial Times are another one. There's a great article here I'll show you at the end. And there's a link to it that explains all of this stuff. And there's the Booking.com example. One important thing to add on there. Why do you think they have a copywriter on every team? Because they just like having copywriters, or because it actually fucking works? Right? Go figure that one out. Get copywriters on your team. But the interesting thing at the Financial Times, and it's one for all these lean organizations, is does the Ferrari race director go down and hang with the guys, take his suit off, stick his hands in the engine, and fuck around with the engine injection system? Oh, I thought I'd just come down and help you guys mess around with the injection system. No, he doesn't. He gives them a metric. He says, I want 2 seconds off the lap time. You guys know how to do it. I'm delegating that to you. I'll leave you to get on with it. And they'll say yes or no or how much they need, and that's the negotiation. But he doesn't tell them how to achieve that metric because he doesn't fucking know. Because he's not an engine management expert. He's a race director. So the FT has these small teams. They're also releasing stuff hundreds of times a day on their site. No monthly release, no weekly release. And you can find out all about all this stuff that's going on at labs.ft.com. But that's how it works. Small teams have direct access to publish. The stakeholders are completely decoupled from the work, and they don't get to decide features. You don't say, I want you to build these features in the next 6 months. You give them a metric. You say, we want 15% increase in 12 months. You give that to the subscriptions team, and they say, we know what to do. Leave it with us. Okay? There's no pesky meddling during execution or time-wasting meeting with morons or endlessly long, boring sign-off chains. It's outcome-driven, not feature-driven. Okay? Let the Ferrari example be a guiding light to you. So before the FT did this, about 50 to 70% of all their dev time was wasted. So they have improved things hugely. Projects were always late, underperformed, and didn't shift metrics. But after they made this change, every single project was on time and under budget. Wouldn't that be nice if it came to your company? Well, there is a way to achieve it. Product changes and A/B tests are just the same thing to us. And Booking.com are almost there as well. They're almost testing everything that we do. That's where you need to get to. Your target. No one should guess anymore. I think we should change the navigation. Who are you? Right? Yeah, I've worked 20 years in marketing. I know what our customers want. All these bullshit phrases. You have no idea, I have no idea, but we know how to find out. We have the tools and testing. So there's a lot that we can do about this, and I'll just leave those points there with you for now. But I'd like to give you some tips and some stuff that you can take away and actually use next week, take them back to the company. There's some further reading on the lean research. You'll find all of these in the deck, of course, and some videos and stuff there. Give them to your bosses. Some A/B testing power-ups and some optimization power-ups to finish off. Thanks to Bart for these stats. If you're looking at these guys and think, wow, we should run as many tests as Google does, you may not have done an important thing, which is to work out what your test bandwidth is. This is an amoeba. It can't do anything complicated like ride a bike or pro skateboarding because it hasn't fucking evolved any arms and legs yet. That's the problem, okay? If you don't have enough traffic, if you've got less than 1,000 conversions a month, I could say pretty much forget it, apart from tests that are really going to be very bold and very risky, right? So work on your product market fit. You haven't evolved to the stage where you have enough traffic to A/B test, then don't start A/B testing. Number 2, this is my local P14 bus driver, okay? I do not confuse him with a methamphetamine manufacturer, or at least a fictional one, right? These are not the same people, and I can tell the difference. Do not copy shit on competitor sites, because your customers are not the same, site is not the same. You don't know. It could have been the most stupid thing that they did on this site all year, and they're going, do you know that really stupid thing that we did the other day? Our stupid competitors copied it. Brilliant. If they keep copying all the bad shit that we do, we'll both be out of business next year. It's like a race to the bottom, right? Just stop copying it blindly, because stop copying your competitors. They may not know what the fuck they're doing either. Please get with statistics. This stuff is important for you, and you should be running a test calculator before doing any A/B tests, just to work out whether it will take 9 million years or not. Anything you do in terms of A/B testing should be prioritized, and there's a couple of excellent discussions around the whole concept of prioritization. But one little tip here, Ton suggested this to me, Ton Wessling, and this idea is what you do is you take all the places that you think you're going to test and you plug the numbers in and you work out that it's going to take 47 weeks. So guess what? You don't test there. And what people do is they make a test list and then they start testing and they don't work out, they don't run this statistical power calculation to see whether running the test would be a waste of time or not. Top slice the test that way. Get a proper hypothesis. If you're going to do an A/B test, then you need to use this construction to write it out. If you try and write out an A/B test using this language and people laugh, that means it's a shit test, basically. So use a test hypothesis. There's also a collaborative meeting sketching process you can use to get people together, and there's a whole load of information there for it. And this hypothesis can be put into a problem statement so you can run your entire company on a hierarchy of hypotheses. Number 7, the Financial Times does this, and it's very interesting. If you have different design breakpoints for different resolutions or devices, then this will be a primary determinant of how your A/B test is shown. So let's say we've got our A/B test here. Oh, it's on there, but on this version, it's down here, and on this version, well, it's way down there, okay? So it's a completely different layout. You need to record the grid design that people are seeing in Google Analytics. Number 8, there are only 5 things that your testing tool should tell you. Winner, loser, inconclusive, costing too much money, hasn't run for long enough. Those are the only 5, all explained in there. And if you like step in and poo all the time, then launch your A/B tests without doing any QA testing, because 60% of the ones that I build fail. So, and I work with some good developers. So 60% fail. How many of yours are already broken? And a plug here for testing.agency. If you don't want to do this stuff and it's really boring, just outsource it. They know how to do it. And you can blame them if they fuck it up as well. Isn't that brilliant? Oh, it wasn't our fault. It was the testing agency guys. But you should be testing across 3 horizons. Your current product to optimize it fully. The next product that you're bedding in is an MVP that's going to take over from that product when we cut people over. And this product here, you don't even know what it is yet, but you're doing the research to shape it into becoming product 2. So test across 3 horizons. In terms of these power-ups, please get an analytics audit. 90% of analytics configurations that I look at, 90 to 95%, are broken. So there's a good bet that yours is probably broken in some sort of way that you don't actually realize is a problem right now. Get in touch. If you haven't figured out what actual devices come to your site, don't just say, oh, Android and iPhone. No, that's not good enough. You need to know what the devices are that are giving you money or are attempting to give you money, because guess what? You test with them. You know, if you have a double buggy and you go to a store and the door isn't wide enough, is it your fault for buying the double buggy, or is it the store's fault for being discriminatory against you? End device discrimination today. Stop it. It's the problem. It's not the fault of you buying the buggy. It's the fault of the designer not accommodating your buggy, right? If you want money, then you want parents in your shop. Make the doors wide enough. Support the browsers. It makes money. And there's no excuse here. You can test all this stuff. There's desktop testing, mobile and tablet. Even Amazon do a device farm that has some free time on it right now, and it's all explained in there. There are even open device labs in most major cities in Europe. You can go and hire this stuff. There are some great usability tools now. These are all cheap and cheerful tools that you can use to do things like to do things like guerrilla user research and to do low-cost user research. It's not expensive. And whilst we're on the subject, stop doing really shitty user research. If you think that because you've done Microsoft Flight Simulator, that means that you can fly a plane, if we just let you go up in the air, people are going to die. Okay? Same with shitty user research. If you think it's easy to do good quality user research, stop doing it because you don't know. You need to read all of this stuff. This is what I give to my students. If they haven't read this, I'm not going to even train them afterwards. If you don't have session recording on your site, please get this installed straight away. And even Google has some wonderful tools that you can use for surveys here. So run a customer survey and get a voice of customer tool on there. Hotjar is an excellent example of a tool that has polling, form analytics, voice of customer, and session replay included in there. These tools are not expensive. And please pay for a copywriter, for fuck's sake. I mean, this is from Swedish Airlines. Invalid phone number format, only digits are allowed, because they put a 0 in there. I mean, how stupid is that? It's evil. Your password is weak. Your password is weak! You know, what's that saying to me? That's insulting. Stop asking people to fill in by writing copy, especially developers. They have all the empathy of a wild scorpion. And invest in your analytics, right? Google Analytics is not free. Your car won't run without oil or brake pads, right? Everyone thinks, oh, it's free, you don't do anything. It works perfectly. Try it with your car. See how far you get on. Write a love note to yourself in the future. Dear Craig, I thought you'd be really fed up with shit data, so I updated Google Analytics so it worked properly. Love, Craig from the past. Thank you, Craig. Do it today. Add some form analytics. If you really want to know why people are dropping off from the phone number field, it's because you haven't asked them, you haven't told them what you're going to use the phone number for. If you say, this is so we can call you in case there's a problem delivering your order, you can then correlate that that's improved your fill-out rate in the form because they know now. Get the answers to this stuff. Formissimo is really easy to use, but you can do it all in Google Tag Manager. It doesn't cost you a penny. No excuse. You have no idea how hard it is to find a picture of two slugs fighting on the internet, but that's it. If you ever go looking for one yourself, you know what to look for now. Turn off the Wi-Fi on all your mobile devices in your office. Do not let people use the Wi-Fi for testing. Use these 3 performance tools, and Google Analytics will even tell you the exact performance of the pages that your users are getting. That's excellent data to mine. And there's a whole load of statistics on Google site performance here. You know, it's less than 2 seconds is good. That's your target, less than 2 seconds. It's easy. So there's your 10 optimization power-ups. So what's the message here? Those are all the messages, but the main one here is that qualitative tools with quantitative tools actually helps you triangulate and focus the work. You can't just use UX research on their own. You can't just use A/B testing and data on its own. You have to bring the two together for success here, and it's really, really important. Remember fundamentally here that if people are saying to you the business is not making enough money, it's like a watch that doesn't tell the right time. If I'm a watchmaker and I want to make that watch tell the right time, I need to know how all these little cogs and multipliers work. And once I do, then I can put a lever in and then I can make the reading on the watch face be what the business wants. Please bear it in mind. It is a business. This is the kind of stuff that I teach to teams, and you'll see a link for here in the end. But the fundamental thing here is you cannot solve these problems until you understand them. Hopefully with some of the tools I've given you that you can take away and use next week, you'll start to dig into this and hopefully get to the same place where I am on this right now. Thank you very much for your time today.